Hey everyone, it's Tailed Deer. It's so nice to see you. I am here by my fire and I am so glad you're joining us today. I have some stories and songs to share with you, starting with a song that might be familiar to you, the Fire in the Sky song. I did already start my fire. I have my water nearby. I've got a nice safety circle around, but let's sing the song together. If you don't know it, then you can learn it. It goes like this. The fire in the sky makes the fire in the trees, makes the fire that we light today. The fire in the sky makes the fire in the trees, makes the fire that we light today. Fire, fire, burning brightly, fill us with your light. The fire in the sky makes the fire in the trees, makes the fire that we light today. I think that the fire just got a little bit bigger because we sang that song. Fire loves to have some love. So the story I'm going to start with is one of my favorite stories. My friend Amy Coyote made this story, but I changed it a little bit. And it goes like this. There once was a girl. By the way, before I tell my story, I just want to invite you to grab a nice glass of cold water. Maybe you have your lunch with you. Maybe you have some tea, just to sit down and join me for some time around the fire. So, to my story. There was a girl who really wanted to make a fire. She had been planning all summer long about a very special recipe she wanted to make. It was soup made with all of these things from her garden. She planted all sorts of things just for this particular recipe. Finally, it was the end of the summer. It was time to make the soup. She cut up all the ingredients and put it in her pot, added some nice fresh water, was all ready. She went out to her fire pit and she put a really big stick in the fire, kind of a stick like this. She put it in her fire pit and she got her matches and she went to go light that stick. It just went right out. Oh dear, she thought, I might have to have cold soup. I really wanted to have hot soup. So she thought she'd try again. Zippo, nothing. It wasn't working. Well, she decided just to sit for a little bit and think. She thought so long. She fell asleep. And as she was sleeping, an animal came along and was observing the situation. She could feel this animal actually came up and kind of gently tapped her on the leg. She woke up and looked down, and there was a little mouse. And the mouse said, "Hey, were you trying to start a fire?" And the girl said, "Yes, I was. I really want to make this soup, but I can't seem to get the fire started." And the mouse said, "Well, actually, I am a really expert fire builder. And what you want to do first is get some sticks that are super teeny tiny, kind of like the size of a mouse's tail. You want to get a whole bunch of those. You want to find some that are dry. When you break them, they snap. That is what you want to use to start your fire, a bunch of mouse tails." And the girl said, "Oh my, I didn't know. Thank you, mouse. By the way, would you like to stay and have some soup with me?" The mouse said, "No, thanks. I actually don't like soup." So the girl went and collected a whole bunch of mouse tails and put them in a little pile. She was just about to start her fire when she saw another animal that had come to visit. It was making a noise like this. Chickadee-dee-dee, chickadee-dee-dee. Oh my, there's a chickadee in the tree. She waved to the chickadee, and the chickadee came over and said, "Hey, I have some other information to share with you about fire building." The girl said, "Oh, what would you like to share?" And the chickadee said, "Well, there's another kind of stick that you want to get that fire going, my friend. You want to get sticks that are kind of like the size that a chickadee like me would sit on if they want to take a little rest. I like to call them chickadee sticks. Again, when you break them, they make a nice little snap." The girl said, "Oh, okay, got it." And the girl said, "By the way, would you like to stay and have some soup with me, little chickadee?" And the chickadee said, "No, thanks. I don't really like soup." So the chickadee left. She was just about to start a fire, mouse tails, chickadee sticks, and then she heard a very strange noise. It was kind of like a thumping, a waddling. What? She looked back behind her, and there, coming across the field from the pond, was a beaver. And the beaver said, "Hey, wait, wait! I hear that you are getting ready to start a fire. I have another tip for you." The girl said, "What would you like to share with me?" And the beaver said, "Well, there's another kind of stick that you need to do that fire. You want to get some sticks that I like to call beaver sticks. They're kind of like the size I put in my lodge or my dam. You want to get a bunch of those, put them on top of those chickadee sticks and the mouse tails, you'll be all ready to go." The girl said, "Great! By the way, would you like to stay and have some soup?" And the beaver said, "No, actually, I don't really care for soup." So she made some piles of mouse tails, she had chickadee sticks, beaver tails. She was all ready to go, just about to start her fire, just dreaming about this delicious soup. And then she heard the softest footsteps she'd ever heard. It was almost like a little furry, covered foot. She looked back. She didn't really see anything. But then she realized the grass was kind of moving, and through the grass came the teeniest tiny little rabbit she'd ever seen. Oh my goodness, it was so cute. She thought, "Oh, I really hope that that rabbit comes over and joins me." And sure enough, it did. And the rabbit said, "Well, there's one more thing that you need to start your fire. You want to, underneath your chickadee sticks and mouse tails and beaver sticks, you want to put a little nest, kind of like I make to put my babies in. You want to find some nice soft birch bark down on the ground, or maybe some cedar bark. You want to make a little nest, and that's where you're actually going to put the fire, the spark for your fire." And the girl said, "Oh my goodness, Rabbit, I'm so glad you came with that one last tip. By the way, Rabbit, would you like to stay for some soup?" And the rabbit said, "Yes, actually, I love soup." And so they made their fire, they cooked their soup, and the rabbit and the girl sat around the fire, chatting, thinking about how much they'd learned about making a fire. That's the end of my story. You can clap now if you like. Well, that's one of my favorite stories. I also have another song to share with you that you might remember from our days at ECO. And when we are really at ECO, the great thing about this song is you can include animals like your nature names. So maybe at home while you're watching, you can be thinking about, what animal would you like to add to this song? I bet you might know this song. It is called "My Roots Go Down." And this is how it goes. You can join in whenever you like. My roots go down, down into the ground. My roots go down, down into the ground. My roots go down, down into the ground. My roots go down. I am a deer walking through the field. I am a deer walking through the field. I am a deer walking through the field. My roots go down. Oh, I think I just heard someone say muskrat. I am a muskrat swimming in the water. I am a muskrat swimming in the water. I am a muskrat swimming in the water. My roots go down. Oh, I just heard someone say chickadee sitting in a tree. I am a chickadee sitting in a tree. I am a chickadee sitting in a tree. I am a chickadee sitting in a tree. My roots go down. Ooh, a mouse munching on a berry. I am a mouse munching on a berry. I am a mouse munching on a berry. I am a mouse munching on a berry. My roots go down. Ooh, a snake slithering through the grass. I am a snake Slithering through the grass, I am a snake. Slithering through the grass, I am a snake. Slithering through the grass, my roots go down. Let's do one more. Let me see if I can hear. Oh, a moose. That must be Moose Caitlin. I am a moose stomping through the swamp. I meant to say, I am a moose stomping through the swamp. I am a moose stomping through the swamp. My roots go down. Thanks, everyone. I love that song. Now, I do have another story I wanted to share with you. Maybe you need to take a little sip of water. Maybe you need to munch a little bit on your cheese. I'm going to take a little sip. That's nice, fresh, clean water there. So, this next story is about the circus mice. And what happened is there was a woman. She loved mice. She also loved the circus. She loved to go to the circus. She loved to watch the circus. She loved to see mice outside, bopping about. And one day it came to her, oh my goodness, I could combine two of my favorite things, circus and mice. So she went outside to one of the places she'd seen mice. And the next time she saw some, she stopped one of them and said, hey, I have an idea. Would you like to be part of a circus? And this particular mouse said, a circus? She had to tell them what it was, but very quickly they realized, oh my gosh, this sounds like a really cool thing. So she ended up getting quite a few circus mice and brought them into her home and started training them in circus skills. Juggling, some trapeze, some very crazy magic tricks. These circus mice got really, really skilled at doing circus tricks. And everything was going great. They did a bunch of shows. They loved being on stage. They realized, oh my goodness, this is really, really fun. But they also were missing being just mice and being outside enjoying doing their regular mouse things. So they had a meeting and they decided to talk to the woman. Say, we'd really, really like to go outside. We really love being circus mice. We don't want to quit or anything, but we want to be able to go outside. And the woman said, well, I'm a little concerned, though, that maybe you've forgotten how to protect yourselves as mice. Maybe some of those skills that you had before, you might have forgotten because now you've been circus mice for so long. So I know what I can do. I'm going to find a watcher, a mouse watcher. And then when you're out, there will be another creature that can help keep you safe when you're out, protect you. Oh, that sounds great. So she put it out in the paper, seeking mouse watcher. Well, the next day, there was a knock on her door. She opened the door, and there was an owl. And she said, hey, how's it going? What, can I help you? And the owl said, yes, I'm actually here to apply for the job of mouse watcher. Now, you and I both know that owls eat mice, but she didn't know that. So the lady said, well, this is great, but I have a particular question. If the mice start getting a little too far away, what are you going to do to get them close? And the owl said, oh, well, I'll just call them back using my owl voice. It kind of sounds like this. Who cooks for you? Who cooks for you? Who cooks for you? Oh, my goodness, said the woman. That is just too scary for these mice. No, I'm sorry. That's not going to work. You don't have the job. So she left the ad up. The next day, there was another knock. She opened the door. There was a snake. Again, we know that snakes eat mice, but she didn't know that. So the woman said, hey, what's up? Can I help you? And the snake said, well, yes, I'm here for the mouse watcher job. And the woman said, okay, well, if the mice started getting a little far away, what would you do? How would you call them back? And the snake said, well, I would just call it back in my snake voice. Oh my goodness, nope, that's going to be way too scary for the mice. I'm sorry, you don't have the job. The next day, there was another knock on the door. She opened the door. It was a fox. And she said, so Fox, my question for you is, what if the mouse start getting a little far away? How are you going to call them back? And the fox said, well, I would just call them back using a little song. Perhaps, mice, come back to your home. Mice, come back to your home. Mice, come back to your home. Oh, that sounds so peaceful. I think you've got the job. Come back tomorrow, maybe around 9 o'clock, and you can start watching the mice. So she went in and she said to the mice, guess what? I have good news. I have good news. I found someone to watch you. I found a watcher of mice. It is a fox. And the mice kind of looked at each other and said, do you realize that foxes eat mice? And the woman said, what? I had no idea. Oh dear. So she called back the fox and said, I have a question for you. Do you eat mice? And the fox said, well, yeah, of course I eat mice. She said, well, I don't know if this is the right job for you then, because I want you to help keep my circus mice safe, not to eat them. And the fox said, well, I have a deal for you. If you will collect a whole bunch of food that I like, I'll give you a list, then I won't eat your mice. He wrote down a big long list of all of his favorite foods, berries, insects. It was a very long list. And then he said, but the most important thing is the last one. I love a nice little glass of heavy cream at the end of all of my meals. She said, okay, I'll get all these things for you. So she went and gathered all these things for the fox. She put them in a big basket. She presented them to the fox. And the fox said, this is great. Oh, but wait a minute. I don't see any cream. She said, oh my gosh, I forgot. So she went to get the cream. But she had a very strange jar. It was kind of a canning jar without a lid. She put the cream in there. And as she was walking over to the fox to deliver it to him, she tripped on a stick. And the jar of cream went flying over. Oh my goodness! Woo! The fox's tail just happened to land in it. Couldn't get the cream off. For the rest of his life, the fox would have a white tail. That's the story of the circus mice and how the fox got a white tail. You can clap now. Thank you. Now, I have one more song to share with you today. I'm so glad you joined me at my fire for some outside eco time. The fire part of the day for eco is one of my favorite things, and I love telling stories. I love hearing other people's stories. I love being around a fire and singing. So the last song I have to share with you is about a fox. And my friend Dave Muskrat shared it. The first time I ever met him, he shared this song. And it's a song where all of the animals come together in the woods and start singing. So I thought it was kind of perfect. It goes like this. I hear the fox and the wolf and the weasel. I hear the fox and the wolf singing. I hear the fox and the wolf and the weasel. I hear the fox and the wolf singing. In 10 years I will return. I hear the fox and the wolf singing. In 10 years I will return. I hear the fox and the wolf singing. Thanks again for joining us today. We next have Caitlin Moose up to do some really cool stick sculptures with you. And then Ken Benton later on, Otter, is also going to do a life in a jar project. So hopefully you can join us at another time of the day. See you later. Thanks for coming.